Here we are, everybody. We are moments away from the start of the British Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League here for season 14, round 12 of this 24-round season. As we're lining up on the grid here with Badman, the runaway pole sitter, was on pole by 0.6 of a second in the qualifying session a few moments ago. An absolutely stonking lap there from the Haas driver and runaway championship leader so far this season. Can anybody keep him within sight here? Can anybody challenge him for the win? Lights are on at the head of the grid for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And it's lights out and we're underway. And Badman gets a good start there as Basin didn't get away at all well. G.C. around the outside into Abbey, and he looks like he's made that move there beautifully there as G.C. We can see Scott there has moved ahead of Rexy Boy up into 6th place. C-Max got ahead of Mango, and we've got Truckee also making a move here on Matty as well, although Matty trying to keep it alongside Truckee's made that move there up into 8th place here, coming through the first few corners, but coming down Wellington Straight here for the first time. It's Badman ahead of G.C. Basin, Ernie and Jargo the top 5, and there they all are filing through your shot right now. Matty Pitt still sticking close to Truckee after losing that position in the first few corners. C-Mac and Mango have dropped off of the leaders a little bit here on the opening lap, but it's Badman who's got a slender lead over G.C. who's trying to put the pressure on him at the moment. G.C. he's in the slipstream here coming down towards Copse Corner. If he can stay close here on this opening lap, then he'll have a good chance of staying in the slipstream, although he's gone a bit wide there going through Copse Corner. That would have been a warning for track limits, and G.C. needs to be careful with those, because I tell you what, he's clearly suffering from understeer going through that corner. Badman has got that set up absolutely perfectly balanced and was able to take the corner very, very easily. Maybe a bit of the slipstream effect there. Dirty air could have been affecting him ever so slightly, but G.C. looked like his car's pretty stiffly set up there going through Copse Corner. Here they come into Stowe for the opening lap of the race. You've got Rexy Boy trying to hassle the back of Scott at the moment as they come down towards Vale Corner. You've also got Truckee and Matty Pitt. Oh no, in the foreground there, Murney there almost ran into the back of Basin, and he goes onto the gravel there going through the Vale chicane, and he's well out of shape there is Ernie. He's dropping down to the back of the pack, the race winner from Tuesday night. He was the hero at the Red Bull Ring. He's the absolute villain here tonight at Silverstone. I'll tell you what, that was well, I didn't really catch it. I was obviously watching the battle in the background, but I saw in the foreground the Sauber just running onto the gravel. I think he might have tapped the back of Basin. If he didn't, then he did very well there to avoid the contact, and we've got to give him his flowers for that if he did. But nonetheless, that was an absolute horror show moment there for Ernie. But Draga here still on the back of Basin at the moment. We've got Matty Pitt getting ahead of Truckee, and Truckee's in the oh no, and Truckee has had an incident there with Matty Pitt. So we've had absolute chaos here in the opening couple of laps here at Silverstone, as we've got a safety car deployed as well. But Matty Pitt is able to continue on his way minus a front wing, and Truckee out of the race here in the early stages, and what an absolute nightmare there for Truckee. And it's kind of given Ernie a bit of a get out of jail free card, because now obviously under safety car he'll have the chance to close back up onto the pack, maybe get a pit stop in, and maybe just regather his thoughts after what was quite a horrendous incident there at the end of the opening lap. But Badman still leading ahead of G.C. just over a second, but separating the top two under this what will be currently a VSC, but it will turn to his full safety car once they cross the line, as Ernie's got a drive through, as if it couldn't get any worse for him. He's now got a drive-through penalty, and as we all know, you can't serve drive-through penalties under a safety car, so you'll have to wait until the penalty has the absolute utmost effect. So we've got G.C. on Basin into the pit. Scott is continuing on his way, so we've got Scott here is going to... Is he? Yeah, he is. So Basin and Scott staying out, so is Badman the race leader. So G.C. and Drago into the pit, so is Mango as well. So we've got, and Matty Pitt is obviously with his front wing. So 4 drivers into the pits here at end of lap 2. Oh, pardon me, do apologise. But that is the situation right now then. Badman, Basin, Scott, Rexy Boy and C-Mac, the top 5 drivers here. And an interesting start to the British Grand Prix. I've got to say, it's not a track where you see the safety cars that often on the F1 game. I'd say it's one of the tracks where you see the least safety cars, obviously because people know it very well. There's not too many accidents, but collisions, whole different ball game. And obviously the fact that it's a purpose-built racetrack, the barriers are a long way away, so it's rare that you see race-ending damage, but rare doesn't mean that it's impossible. Here we are then, everybody. We are about to get back underway here at the end of the safety car period. So we've got Badman here who's going to be getting us back underway. He seems to have caught them out a little bit here. He's almost a second ahead already as they come over the line here to start lap 5. You've got Basin who's trying to keep Scott behind him. Scott obviously didn't pit, so we got a bit of a change up in terms of strategy here with the obviously some drivers coming in, some not. But the likes of Badman, Basin, Scott, Rexy Boy, C-Mac and Ernie all opting not to pit under the safety car as Ernie's made the move on C-Mac up into 5th place. And looks as though C-Mac now coming under pressure. Drauga's got ahead of G.C. and Drauga there almost, in fact he has made up 2 places there as Drauga, but you've got G.C. now looking to the inside of C-Mac coming down the straight towards Brooklands. And they're side by side here as C-Mac trying to defend there from G.C. but he can't do it. And G.C. is up into 7th place. Matty Pitt still just ahead of Mango in that fight for 9th and 10th places. You've got Matty Pitt who's trying to hassle the Red Bull of C-Mac. C-Mac's had a bit of a backward start over these first few corners of this restart, but Matty Pitt for the time being tucking in 9th place. You've got Badman here leading ahead of Basin. The gap's a second between those two at the moment as Scott's continuing to pile the pressure on the back of Basin at this moment in time. Rexy Boy also well within the range of DRS when that will eventually be awarded to those within a second of the car in front. But Badman looking to extend his gap out the front. Obviously we saw in qualifying he was miles ahead of everybody else. He was 6/10 clear in qualifying, which is almost unheard of in F1. So clearly has a lot of pace around here as Ernie's into the pits here at the end of lap 5. So he's coming in once again, which actually makes sense because he has got a drive-through penalty, which he was awarded under the safety car for speeding under the safety car. Obviously F1 have this rule that if you're caught speeding and endangering the lives of marshals, then instead what they want you to do is they want you to come into the pits and endanger the lives of the mechanics in the pits instead of the marshals. It's an interesting concept. But anyway, we got Scott here making a move on Basin into 2nd place. Rexy Boy still sticking behind him for the time being. Drauga in the background there ahead of G.C. C-Mac still trying to keep Matty at bay as they go through Brooklands, as we see there. That's C-Mac who goes a little bit wide. Oh, he's all over the curb there on the exit of Brooklands going into Luffield, and Matty Pitt says, "Thank you, mate. Very kind of you indeed," and slips up the inside up into 7th place. Relatively routinely there for Matty Pitt. Mango still waiting in the wings, trying to potentially knock C-Mac while he's down here, but Badman still out the front with now a 2-second gap over Scott. And I tell you what, Scott looks very vulnerable now to Basin, as Basin looking to pile the pressure on here coming out of Chapel. Now he did lose a little bit of time there through that part of the track. Obviously dirty air makes it very hard through corners that require so much aero efficiency as Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. But at the moment Basin is still keeping Scott very much under the cosh here as they come down towards Vale once again. G.C. still keeping the pressure on Drauga in this fight for P5 and 6. Obviously these guys on fresh tyres, but they're absolutely dropping off of the leaders like no tomorrow, so it's a bit of a confusing situation there with those guys. But Badman's still leading the race by just under 3 seconds over Scott at the moment. There's Basin and Rexy Boy. Drauga and G.C. still going at it there for 5th and 6th places. Matty Pitt, C-Mac, Mango there, not too far behind them. Here they come once again through Luffield. Basin still trying to find an opening here. Obviously Scott made the move on him, and now Basin's trying to come back at him here. So come down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again. Rex Boy still keeping within reach of these guys. He's falling back a little bit. Drauga's fallen out of DRS. He's now going to be very vulnerable to G.C. as they come down the hanger straight. Basin a bit too far behind, but G.C. going to have a chance here with the DRS. He's also just a little bit too far away here. Mango looking pretty close on the back of C-Mac, but still a bit too far back going into Stowe Corner this time around. As the leaders here coming out of Vale into Club Corner, and Rexy Boy. Oh, Rexy Boy's made a mistake here and has lost out to Drauga and G.C. down to P6 here is Rexy Boy. C-Mac's got a 3-second penalty as he runs wide there going through Club Corner, and that's going to allow Mango up into 8th place. So C-Mac dropping backwards here. As Basin running a little bit wide there as they came through Village. Now through Aintree and into the loop. And Basin just a little bit too far away to really put any significant pressure on Scott at this moment in time. But Tralga and G.C. on their fresher tyres have managed to pick off Rexy Boy and may now be able to hunt down the top three. Now they've stopped, well, we don't know if they stopped fighting each other, but for sure, seemingly their pace is a little bit stronger in comparison to the likes of Scott and Basin. But nobody in the same league as Badman tonight. Basin though still keeping the pressure on the back of Scott at the moment. You've got G.C. all over Tralga as they come through the sequence here in this middle sector. Maggots Beckett's. Now if G.C. can stay close here out of Chapel, he'll have a great chance of making this move. And I'll tell you what, he's got a fantastic run. He now looks to the inside with DRS available for him, and G.C. makes the move up into 4th place there. An easy move there for the Ferrari, and he can now focus his attention further up as we see C-Mac, who's got a bit of a run here on Mango down towards Stowe, too far back at the moment, has to settle for 9th by the time being. But Badman still out the front. It's got a gap just under 5 seconds over Scott at the moment. Basin here still keeping the pressure on Scott at this moment in time. Oh, for fuck's sake. What? Right. Oh, you need toilet roll. Give me a sec.
Put it on the back here. What?
Oh, apologies for that, guys. Right, where were we? So we got Ernie here moving ahead of C-Mac up into 9th place. Badman's still out the front here with a good gap of 5 seconds over Scott and Basin. They will continue to fight it out here as they're coming out of club corner once again. So Basin here keeping close tabs here on Scott. We come down towards Abbey again. There's G.C. in the background. There's Tralga. For fuck's sake, why is my... Oh, God. Controllers stopped working there for a second. But anyway, Badman out the front with a very, very clear lead at this point. Basin still trying to keep within DRS here of Scott. G.C. looks like more of a threat to Basin than Basin is to Scott at this point, I would say. And G.C. now well within range here on Basin as they come down the old pit straight in towards Cops Corner. He's just fallen back a little bit here. Basin's now closed up onto the back of Scott a little bit more here. G.C. looks a bit wide there. I don't know if that was track limits. Could be a warning coming his way. But here they come then. Battle for 2nd place still rages on. G.C. was tantalisingly close to Basin for a second there. I think he must have made a mistake there going up Chapel. But at the moment, Basin still trying to pile his pressure on as they come through Stowe once again. As we got Rex Boy there making a move on Tralga, but Tralga's not giving up on this one as they're still fighting it out here. And Rexy Boy in the end holds on to P5 going into Vale. But an exciting battle there in the background as we were watching that fight. Basin still trying to keep G.C. at bay as they come out of club corner again. But great fights here in this British Grand Prix here at the Babel Sector Formula 1 League here for season 14, round 12 of this 24 round season, of course, as we've got Draga here getting ahead of Rex Boy. In fact, no, he hasn't, because Rex Boy's trying to keep it around the outside as Draga seems to have completed that move, going through Aintree onto the loop and out to Wellington Straight. It looks like that is job done there for the Mercedes driver And Draga's also got DRS here on G.C. as well, which is going to keep him in play as we've got some rain falling here, unmistakably. That is some H2O, which is gracefully decided to bestow itself upon us here as we got Rexy Boy, who's looking to the inside now of Draga, down the old pit straight. Looks like Draga's got enough slipstream there on G.C. to just allow him to pull ahead there. But now with the rain falling, this is going to be absolutely fascinating. Do apologise. But currently we've got Basin here. Has he got DRS? Because obviously with the rain falling, yeah, no, we're not even near taking DRS away yet. Drago in the meantime has moved back ahead of G.C. My buttons are on a bit of a delay, I'm not sure why. We see Basin coming into the pits, so Basin feels that maybe it's worth a gamble at this point. We got Drago and G.C. following suit here as well. So a few drivers coming in here at the end of lap 11. It is just the three of them by the looks of it though. In fact, no, Ernie's coming in as well for Inters. So Basin, Drago, G.C. all coming into the pits. Badman still with a 10-second lead out the front. I don't think even a meteorite hitting the track would stop Badman tonight. Not unless it landed on his car. Drago here still trying to pile the pressure on the back of Basin as they come through Luffield once again. The rain is looking pretty slippery, but these guys, let's keep an eye on their sector times. It looks like they're closing in on the leaders, so it definitely looks like it's time for Inters. The guys who haven't pitted are going to suffer a little bit on this in-lap due to having the wrong tyres on. So Basin's gained about a second just in these three corners that we've been watching them. And it's definitely time to get the Inters on for the leaders. Badman's in, so is Scott, so is Rexy Boy. Matty likewise. Mango, I'm sure, will be doing the same in a moment. So Badman off and away. Scott into the box. Rexy Boy. They're all putting intermediate tyres on. Mango also in the pits as well, so where's Basin going to come out? I think Badman, well, I think pretty, there's no doubt really. Badman will still be in the lead. Basin's coming out the last corner now. Now where is Scott? Scott is just coming off the limiter now. Basin's coming into Abbey. I'll tell you what, it's going to be quite close here. Where is Scott? Is he just up the road? No, he's there. There he is. So Scott just about comes out in second place, but Basin's going to have warm tyres compared to Scott, who's still going to be trying to get his up to temperature. Although the thing is, Basin would have done a couple of corners, I think. Oh, is Scott there? It's got a 3-second penalty. I was about to say that Basin would have done a couple of would have done a little bit of driving, probably in quite dry conditions. And obviously, when you take the Inters out on a dry track, you tend to wear them out a little bit. But obviously, it was pretty damp by the time it got through half a lap. So Basin here now, a second behind Scott. Oh no. What is it?
Andy? Yeah. I made a bit of a mess in the toilet.
Oh no.
Will you sort it out for me?
Oh god.
No, well.
Oh, I'm in the middle of a commentary right now.
Oh well.
I'll sort it out afterwards.
Cleaners are coming.
Oh, for God's sake, man. Really sorry guys, I just had to deal with an absolute disaster. It's not terrible, but it's not something I really want to talk about on the mic. But anyway, we got Badman still leading the race as the rain has really started to come down, and they're all running the inters which they put on a few laps ago. So looks like G.C.'s actually gone for the wet tyres here, so he's banking on it absolutely plummeting down over these last few laps of the race. Badman with almost 8-second lead over the Rainmaster Scott, who's currently 8 seconds behind him. Another driver we know who's pretty good in these conditions, Ernie, currently running in P5. Was out of position before the rain came, so wasn't really in a situation where he could capitalise. Oh, pardon me. But he's currently running in about a second and a half behind Base and about 4 seconds behind Drauga at this point, so could still be in a battle for the podiums, with obviously those guys having penalties and he doesn't. So it could be 2 podiums in the space of a week for Ernie in similar types of races. But at the moment, Badman continuing to do the business. Scott's bringing the gap down a little bit actually over the course of this lap, but not by enough to give Badman any real concerns in these final few laps of the races. We just saw Badman going through the shot at the bottom of the screen through Stowe Corner, and Scott's about to come through that same section now. But I'll tell you what, Ernie's really closing up onto the back of Basin here in this fight for 4th place. Both Basin and Drago have penalties, but if Basin fights this one particularly hard, then it will obviously prevent Ernie from staying within that 3-second range to Drauga in these closing laps of the race. As G.C.'s got a 3-second penalty there for track limits on his wet tyres, clearly pushing the limits a bit too much there, although he is actually gaining on Mango. But I'll be interested to see what his pace is like compared to the leaders. But he seemingly has got some pace, but you can see a clear, well, you can see that the racing line is significantly drier than the surroundings, so at the moment I think intermediate tyres are probably the right call. Ernie nonetheless is right on the back of Basin now. Can he get this move done quickly and continue his pursuit of a potential podium here tonight? Basin's not making it easy for him. He's making his car as wide as he can. Through Luffield they come. Is Ernie going to get a switch back here? Doesn't really got the room to do that at this point, and Basin there gets a better exit coming out of Luffield, which is keeping him in play and maintaining 4th place at the moment. Ernie's got the slipstream here down the old pit straight into Cops Corner again, just a little bit too far away, and Basin for the time being continuing to cling on to this one very nicely indeed. Ernie here's got the slipstream coming down the hanger straight once again. It's getting closer and closer and closer to the back of Basin, still too far back there going into Stowe Corner. Scott's definitely gaining on Badman out the front. His pace in the wet's been significantly better, but the gap I think a bit too big. But who knows? I mean, Badman could be feeling the pressure at this point. Scott has got a penalty though, and that will be holding him back ever so slightly. This Basin here's well within striking distance of Drauga. Ernie also looking to pile the pressure on as they come down towards Brooklands once again. Still looking for a cutback, still looking for any possible opportunities here as Ernie now to the inside on Basin. Basin left the door open a little bit. Ernie needs to get onto the power nice and early and try and out-drag him here down through Woodcut and the old pit straight, and he gets a bit onto the curb there. That would have not been what Ernie needed there going down that part of the track, and Basin able to hold on to that one going through Cops Corner once again. He also had the slipstream off of Draga there, did Basin, which helped him out a lot in trying to defend there from the Sauber. But these three going at it here for third place. Basin and Ernie have had the pace over Drago over these last few laps. Clearly Drago's maybe struggling a little bit in these conditions, and these two are going to be waiting in the wings. They're going to be poised, ready to pounce. But Ernie currently in the box seat here with no penalties. Matty Pitt in the background is closing in on these guys. So whilst these three battle, we could have forgotten about this man here, the former champion here at Purple Sector from 3 seasons ago, and one of the admins here as well, alongside T, who I haven't actually seen this season so far. Sorry, not this season, this year. Keep getting the two mixed up. As C-Mac has just retired from the session, which is a shame to see, as we've got Ernie still on the back of base at the moment, going into turn 1, still a little bit too far away at this moment in time. As Ernie's looking to the outside here on base and into village once again. Still looking for an opportunity at the moment, it's not forthcoming. Basin is doing a great job here of keeping him at bay as they come out onto the Wellington Straight once again here. Only looking to the outside there on Basin into Brooklyn, still not quite within range at this moment in time. Only in the slipstream here on the back of Basin as they come down the old pit straight, getting very, very close here to the back of him. In the background you can see Drauga just has managed to, well, he sort of briefly managed to get away there whilst these two are battling. Now they're kind of bringing it back to him a little bit. But Drauga has looked like he's a bit off the pace of these two over the last few laps, but now seems to have had a bit of a kick up the bum and is starting to match these guys in terms of their lap times. Only now with the slipstream here down the hanger straight, just a little bit too far away again there, going into Stowe Corner. Once again Basin looking pretty solid in that one. I've just got 4 laps left to go here at Silverstone. I tell you what, Scott is gaining hand over fist on Badman at the moment. Gap down to just 3 seconds at the front with 4 laps left. Scott, if he gains a second the lap, will be absolutely all over the back of Badman on the final lap of the race. This could be race on here for the win, as Drago, Basin and Ernie still fighting it out over third place. Ernie still in the prime seat with the without a penalty. And Matty Pitt has well and truly joined this battle now. This is now a 4-way fight here for a podium place. And if Matty can get ahead of Ernie, he will finish on the podium tonight at his home Grand Prix. How much I'm sure he'd love for that to happen. Gap down to 2.8 at the front between Badman and Scott. We're still watching about a third place at the moment as it continues to rage on here between these 4 drivers. Matty Pitt now well within a shout here. Rexy Boy continuing to drop away from these guys in 7th place. Mango and G.C. well off of everybody. G.C. on wet tyres, which I think it's becoming more and more apparent were not the right choice. But the gap over 3 seconds here between Badman and Scott at the moment as they're coming towards the end, lap 23. And Basin has now made the move on Draga up into third. Although is that going to be job done? They're still side by side in these wet conditions, going through maggots and Beckett's. That is a treacherous situation there as Draga makes his way through, as Matty's now looking to try and capitalise. He's trying to make the move on early, had to back out of it there coming out of Chapel, as we now see Basin trying to come back here at Draga down towards Stowe Corner. They're side by side here going through, and on the inside there Basin back up into third place. Draga is going to look to try and come back at him down towards Vale, but he's not in a position to do so. Ernie here looking to try and feast on these scraps as he almost runs into the back there of Drauga going through Vale. With Rexy Boy there getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits as we start lap 24 of the race. This is going down to the wire here for the podium places. They're giving it absolutely everything. Ernie now to the inside of Drauga here into Abbey, and he makes that move up the inside. He goes a little bit wide, had to take a tight line through the corner, and that just put him off of line going through that second part. And looks as though he's still made that move nonetheless there as Ernie up into 4th place, and he's currently in that podium position, obviously with the penalties there for Basin. But crucially, he's got a car in between himself and Matty Pitt. That's the real battle is here for the podiums, because these two, both without penalties, the 2 other drivers in this battle, both sporting a marker of well, repercussions from the stewards. But at the moment Matty just over a second behind this battle between Basin and Ernie, And Ernie's still trying to keep the pressure on Basin, but he's dropped off a little bit over the course of this lap. Basin now just over a second ahead of Ernie. Oh, it's only a massive snap there as he went through Copse, and he needs to be careful here because if he gets himself a penalty, then all of his hard work's undone, and Matty Pitt will get the podium on a plate here. Although saying that, Matty Pitt is nearly 3 seconds behind Basin now. So this could be, this could be dodgy here for Matty. He's almost fallen out of range here. If Ernie can keep the pressure on and keep Basin fighting, then this could obviously slow him down a little bit, and it could inadvertently bring Matty back into this fight. I think Ernie's best bet now is to just sit behind Basin, not challenge him. He needs Basin to be on his pace. That way he's not going to be under threat, Ernie, of Matty being close enough to overtake him, because that is the battle for the podium places here. So Ernie, if he's smart about this, will just sit behind Basin and not try and put him off guard or put him off of his lines here. In the meantime, the gap at the front between Badman and Scott is down to just 0.7 of a second. Scott has been absolutely plugging away over the last few laps. He's been doing a brilliant job, and he is now well within range of taking the lead of this British Grand Prix. As they're coming through Copse Corner once again, he's well enough close to get a good run down one of these straights in the wet conditions. The slipstream's a little bit stronger than you find in the dry. So here we go then, Badman and Scott tied at the hip here as we come towards the end of the penultimate lap here. Lap 25 or 26 here, as Scott's now got a fantastic run. He's got brilliant straight line speed as well. This is going to be the lead of the Grand Prix here for Scott. To the inside he goes into Stowe Corner, and that is job done there for the McLaren. Up into the lead there, ahead of the Haas car of Badman, and Scott's been hunting him down over the last few laps. He's now got this P1, but the thing is he has got a penalty, so he'd need to gain 3 seconds on Badman over this final lap of the race. I don't know if that's going to be possible here for him. He may have to set off a second with the penalties, but I'm sure he's going to give it everything on this final lap to try and take the win. As Basin's got just over a second here to Ernie. Ernie's still in a podium place at the moment. Matty just dropping off at these guys a little bit there in P5. I think he's going to have to settle for 4th place. He might just get the position there ahead of Basin. Although he is now 3 seconds behind Basin, so maybe Basin might be on for a 4th place here. Ernie's still well within that catchment at the moment, as Scott is already a second and a half here ahead of Badman. So this could be Scott's win here. If he can gain a second and a half in these final 2 sectors, Scott will be the race winner tonight. This is incredible. The work he has done in this final stint has been absolutely sensational. Now let's see what the gap is coming out of Luffield. Badman got a good exit there. Ooh, gap 1.7. Here they come into Copse. Now Maggots and Beckett's is going to be the maker or breaker here. As Drauga, oh, Scott goes wide there going out of Copse. Did he get a penalty? He must have not been on his final warning of this particular segment of penalties, because clearly he got away with that one. But here he comes then through Beckett's and out of Chapel here for the final time in this race down the Hanger Straight. What's the gap? What is the gap? It is 2.2 seconds. So Scott needs to find 8 tenths, now 7 tenths. Now only 6 tenths he needs to find through these final 3 corners of the lap. It's going to be close here. Scott might be able to take this win here into the Vale chicane. I'll tell you what, if the gap's 3 seconds, he's got this win. He needs to absolutely nail it. He's got it over 3 seconds. This is unbelievable. Scott has managed to take the win, I think. Is it a 3 second penalty though? He comes over the line. Scott crosses the line first. Oh, Badman gets it on the penalties. Badman, by just under 1/10 of a second, managed to stay within the catchment there. So Scott doesn't get the win despite putting in an absolute shift there on that final lap. Basin's going to come around to take 3rd on the track, but it's going to be Ernie to take his 2nd podium in the space of a week. Took the win in Austria on Tuesday night and follows it up with a podium tonight at Silverstone. Basin 4th ahead of Matty Pitt, who crosses the line in P5. It's going to be his teammate Draga to follow him home in 6th. In fact, Rexy Boy gets the position on the penalties there. So Rexy Boy 6th, Draga 7th. G.C.'s crossed the line a lap down there in 9th place, having gambled on the wet tyres. It was a gamble that went rather like visiting a casino in Las Vegas. But we've got Mango coming through the final corners, and it's going to be 8th place here for him. And that is going to be that then for the British Grand Prix here tonight. But it's Badman who takes the win. Scott, though, I've got to say, it's my driver of the day after that unbelievable final stint on the Inters. The Rainmaster came tantalisingly close here to winning the British Grand Prix, but it is unfortunately for him the status quo resumed here, and Badman, the championship leader, once again extending the gap in the championship. A home winner. I mean, the chances were pretty high we'd have a home winner, to be honest, but Badman doing a great job there with Scott second, and the podium being completed there by Ernie, who once again does a very solid job there. That is that then for tonight, for the action here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League for season 14, round 12 of this 24 round season. Half the season complete, and Badman absolutely walking away with it in terms of the title. But that is that. Thanks to Purple Sector once again for having me on the comms. It was a pleasure as always, and we'll be back on Tuesday next week for the resumption. But yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you all very, very soon.